Then, so can you start from the top again, Karol? Sorry about that.
Okay. So, do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Okay. The focus is on how Earth observation could help, or if it can help to African farmers, what we can do. It is the part of for Agri activity discussion with the people, how it could be done, and mainly it is managed by Club of Osiach, which is the network of individuals, while Info is Czech Research Organization, and Plan for All is network of organizations. I will start at the beginning some very short overview about two important programs or activities. First is Copernicus program. It is European program for space, and the focus of the Copernicus is full and free open access to data. Could be that some people remember the Copernicus under the former name, which was called GMES, and later the name was changed on the Copernicus. And the focus is to meet user requirements and develop some set of satellites which will help to monitor the Earth observation, but also integrated this data with in situ systems. So this is important because very often people consider Copernicus only as Earth observation, but we have to think also about in situ systems, and I think that integration of both Earth observation in situ is important for the success. If you are following or know more, you know that we have now operational two levels of satellite. It is Sentinel-1, which is mainly on radar data, and Sentinel-2, which is on the data in the visible spectrum and also near infrared spectrum. As you probably know, now is starting Sentinel-3 and will come the next generation of Sentinels to cover different aspects of Earth observation. Copernicus is focused on next topic. It is air quality and atmospheric composition, ozone layer emission and surface fluxes, solar radiation, climate forcing, length. About the length, Copernicus length monitoring is focused on land coverage, and it changes land use, vegetation state, water cycle, air surface energy, and so there is running a number of services already. So if you are looking on the Copernicus, you can use two things. You can have access to the data, but you can also use already services which are providing monitoring, and you can access the result of this monitoring. For land monitoring, there is global, pan-European, local, and there are also reference imagery data available. Mainly I will mention the global monitoring activity. It is vegetation, energy, water, cryptosphere, hotspots, and ground-based. Vegetation monitoring is focused on status of the monitoring, but also, for example, on fires and this type of things. And this Copernicus service provided, I think, in the cycle of 21 days, the monitoring of all globe. I think that for us, also, as I will see on the end, are important changes for climatic services, Copernicus climatic changes services, because this is something very important for farming sector, and we will speak about this later. Probably again, you know that there exists partnership between Europe and Africa about the Copernicus, or it was signed in the time of GMES initially, and this partnership exists from 2007. So it means that also Africa is welcome to use fully the advantages of Copernicus services. Second things, what I would like to mention on the beginning is GEO and GEOS. Maybe that Bente will be much better in this than I. So GEO is partnership of more than 100 national governments with participating organization, and the goal is again making Earth observation better available for people. GEOS is central part of GEO. It is global Earth observation system of systems. There exists number of platform, number of development. With Bente, we are working on next GEOS platform, and the goal is to link different activity around the world and guarantee that the data the services will be available for all community around the world. And in the GEO, there are next topic, biodiversity and ecosystem sustainability, disaster resilience, energy, food security, which is probably for us the most important, public health, infrastructure and transport management, sustainable urban development, and water resources. I think that more from this GEO key topics are important. Water, of course, is related, and also biodiversity, but mainly in our hackathon and also in L for Agri, we are focusing on food security and sustainable agriculture. There already exists under the GEO one huge initiative which is providing global monitoring of agriculture. It's called GEOGLAM. Similar initiative exists for forest, and GEOGLAM is serving again monthly data about status of agriculture in many countries of the world. So it was established in June 2011 in Paris, and it is the part of G20 action plan. And the AMIS portal you can see is the portal where you can see the result and when you can see the report about the status of agriculture in the world. The GEOGLAM focus is build sustainable international network of agriculture monitoring, harmonize operational global agriculture monitoring with in situ, and also enhance national agriculture reporting schemes. So it was generally about the situation which is now. I will now for a few minutes switch my presentation and give place for potential question, and then we will go more to L for Agri and the task of our hackathon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karol, for that. And I thank you also for those of you who have told us where you come from. So many different countries from all over Africa. It's very exciting for us who organize this to see this engagement. And now is the time for you to ask questions. If you have any questions to Karol about the background, you might have questions related to Copernicus, to the agreement with Africa, the African Union, and Europe on this, and also questions to GEO and GEOS and GEOGLAM. For instance, have you heard about GEOGLAM? That would be, I know that the GEOGLAM people will be very happy to learn that. So if you can tell us that, if you don't have any other questions as well, please let us know a little bit about your knowledge about the things that Karol just mentioned, and of course the questions. Raise your hand if you want to ask anything, and if you don't have a question right now, I don't see anybody asking. Let me see. No. So there's a chance again in the break after the next session. I think we just jump to it, Karol.
Okay, I will continue.
Yep. So while we wait, he's sharing his screen. I just gave you the link to the description of the entire team here in the chat, if you haven't noticed.
Okay.
Okay.
European Commission now start finance for Agri initiative, and this initiative has to help to all farming sector, or not only farmers, but government, food producer, and other to fully use advantage of Earth observation. And the task of this project is to analyze the needs of the people, needs of different group, and to be some catalyst for evaluation of European capacity, but also needs outside of Europe, because one part is the global food security. In Europe, the project is focusing on EU Common Agriculture Policy. This is one from important things on the farming sector, but also we are looking how could be used as observation for insurance, for example, because for insurance it could be very important to have information about what happened, or what can happen, what was in the past, what is now the situation. In Europe is now are financed for platform which are called DIAS. It is Copernicus Data and Information Services, and this DIAS has to making data available, but also developing in the future new services on the base of requirements from different group of users. Important is to address global food security and to support or make some support for this global agriculture monitoring, but also to look what more is needed in other countries to using the real benefit of Copernicus data, and also what is necessary to do, how is necessary to change the policies, how could be done some agreement that the data or potential of the data could be better used. This is this task of this project which I am managing, and the idea about this hackathon, or could be ideathon, came from this, because I think that in many cases the requirements are very often wish of technology providers. Yes, so my dream is to have the chance to speak and discuss the real needs with the people from Africa and other countries, and to look what is their opinion, what are their real priority, not only analyze some previous recommendation coming from technology provider. And now I am already coming to our goal of our pilot. What I would like, one is that I would like to analyze how running activities really fit to the needs of African farmers. Eventually, if we will be able in short time to run some pilot tests, I would like to run some pilot tests, and I see as important to, together with all people who will be willing to cooperate, to prepare some recommendation, because it is important to have recommendation also for future cooperation between Africa and African and European Commission. And of course, it's good to have a good partnership, because I don't know how you are familiar, but for example, project of Horizon now 2020, future will be probably Horizon Europe, are open for Africa, and some from this project directly target on Africa. So we would like to have some good cooperation, and to build some teams also for future activity and future project. I have a few such question or problem. How or are Earth observation technology for African farming, it is mainly with the fact that a lot of farms is small in Africa, and there is a question which technology could be good or useful for small farmers. I think that this is something what is important to discuss, because not any solution which, for example, could be used in Czech, where our farms are extremely big. Yes, the normal size of a farm is 1,000 hectare, 2,000 hectare. The normal size of fields is 20 hectares. So this is something what is probably different, and if we are thinking about possibility, we need to understand situation in Africa and how this technology could help to the farming sector in Africa, where probably is composition of farm different. Of course, in South Africa there are very huge farm. Maybe that also in some other countries, maybe Namibia, Botswana, but in many countries, what I saw in Africa are very, very small farm, and it is important how this small farm also could benefit from these technologies. So how we start the work? I use here one image. Because before my presentation, there were 97 registered people in our team. Here on this URL, you can see the all list, and I ask all people to put there some information, because it is good for us to know each other. So I would like ask you to join this document and put there your short CV and photo to be able for each of us to know each other. So this is one thing where we started already. And on the beginning, I started with 3 questions. Why I would like work in this group, where Earth observation can help to African agriculture, and about ideas about potential experiment. It's some first exercise, and this was also reason why I invited second Karel to discussion today, because what I recognize, and probably it is true, that many of the topics is related to climate, and he is managing the pilot for climate, so maybe that will be good if we will work in some synergy. Here you can see the current answer why people would like to work. So weather is mentioned in first things. Other things is that food security is important, and that is important to be able to integrate different information and vulnerability in Africa. Here again, soil management and erosion, this is probably a big problem, and we can look how we can help real-time crop monitoring data. I'm very interested about this, but we have to discuss how we can do this with small farms, or we can look for other type of the satellite, because it is important that resolution of the satellites fit well to all these tasks. Prediction analysis in agriculture sector and different agriculture practices. And about potential experiment, it is agroclimatic zones in Kenya. I think that this is exactly topic for Karel's pilot, integrating weather data and biophysical data, focus on different weather event and prediction of disease susceptibility. So all these things I think are related to Karel, and here are some other things: monitoring crop phenology, hydrological flow, and integrated of weather sensors and remote weather estimation. There is other pilot which is partly related with this. Michal was not able to participate, but you can see here in my presentation the link to both these pilots. The presentation will be available together with recording of the video later, so you will be able to find the link. But if you will go on Plan for All web pages, you can find also these 2 other groups. So what are the next steps? It is collecting more feedbacks. I will prepare also new question, but I plan to start some teleconferences more active. Probably I will try to organize something already this Friday, and then to prepare some list of documentation. And if we will have also some pilot or demo, will be good if we will be demonstrate this in Nairobi, and then later also to European and African Commission. Here you can see the link to Plan for All, L for Agri, EUXDAT. It is other project and both organization, and you can directly contact me on my email. So I will now switch to video mode, and maybe that there will be a little space for Karel to tell something.
Yeah, very little space because we are a little bit late, but 1 minute for you, Karel. And if you have questions, your attendees here, please let us know. We will be able to answer very quickly. So Karel, the floor is your Karel Jedlicka.
Very briefly, I just passed into the chat a link to a team building document of Team 2, which is similar document as Karel was mentioning, as he does for his team. So if you are interested in the team number 2 and you weren't registered yet during the registration, just go there and put there a couple of your personal details. And I plan later today to send some up-to-date status of the Team 2, so I will incorporate you into the mail list, and you will see what's going on. Particularly, it's to prepare one example, or maybe 2 or 3 examples, use cases, which could show how mostly meteorological data could help a farmer in Africa or even somewhere else. Yeah, so having a minute, that's
yeah. Thank you. So there's a good chance there's a overlap, as you have said quite profoundly now, I think. And here is the EU for All, as Plan for All organization.
EU for Agri.
EU for Agri. As you can see, we have created some material, and we are very active. And this group here is part of the activities in EU for Agri. And if anybody you know is here in Vienna at the European Geosciences Union, tomorrow at 10:45 there's a meeting where we have a splinter meeting where you can come and tell us about what your experiences are. But Parmita raised her hand. I had somebody else raising her hand, and I sent an invite. I do that for Parmita as well. But if you are not very quick now, I'm afraid I have to shut down. We will be here for another minute or so. Those who are raising your hands, if you are not receiving the email, that's one issue, but you should look in your spam folder. If you are not having a webcam or the sound or the technical request or the requirement I mentioned, that might be the reason why you cannot enter the room. So sorry for that. There is, some requirements for entering this room. Meanwhile, you can ask the questions in the chat, and I can read them out to the presenters. If not, you will have calls, telcos, where people will be able to speak, right? Karel and
yes.
Karel.
Yes.
Yes. So you will.
I will announce this tomorrow. Yes, I will prepare, and I will announce this tomorrow. The first round of telcos.
Yes, and you, Karel Jedlicka, you already have planned your first meeting, right?
Yeah, we already had the first meeting, and then I will send the link to the Skype group in the email I just mentioned.
Yes, excellent. So you will be heard. Your voices will be heard also. So and of course you have
just one comment. We are desperately looking for locals, for people from Africa, which could help us with the local conditions, because we have in our head some kind of algorithms, but we need to get the right parameters for setting up the algorithms to run properly. So we are really looking for people to help us.
Yes, and Parmita, thank you for asking the questions in the chat. And the question is, will we only discuss the ideas, or will there be development of some applications?
Yes, the goal is also to try to develop some application. If it will be in climate, it will be more in the direction of second Karel. If there will be also some other application, we will try to do this in our group. We are now negotiating also to access to higher data, commercial data, but till now it is not closed discussion. But in any case, there will be also chance to make some experimentation with satellite data in your countries, and also there will be some probably other tests in other things like open land use or other pilot, where will be also some real tests with different type of data.
Yes, thank you. So really the last one and question, and we need to be fast. So Francis is asking, one of the plans presented is on effective partnership. Which kind of partners are you looking for? Universities, CBOs, research institutes? I think yes to all, right?
I think it could be also company, it could be NGO. As I said, any type of organization could be part of a good partnership. It much more depends on the people and activity than on the type of organization. Yes, so this is more important. Some willingness to work together.
Yeah, we want to work together, and we need the locals to be involved. Otherwise, we will not succeed. So that's why we are also so very happy that there are so many from Africa in this group. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, the two Carols. So now I really have to let you all go. Thank you so much for attending.
Bente,
yes.
Let me use my last sentence. Yes.
Oh, great. Yes. Go ahead.
So this we are first time in Africa with Inspire Hackathon, but Inspire Hackathon has long tradition in Europe, and I hope that we will continue in Africa also in future, because Inspire Hackathon is not event, it is movement.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you so much. Ciao. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.